Today marks the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, a pivotal event in the civil rights movement. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Gothner.
And I'm James Packard. President Obama, former President George W. Bush, and people who walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge back in the 60s were all on site for celebration. Today, NBC's Jay Gray has more.
In your top local story tonight, police are investigating an early morning shooting that sent 2 people to the hospital. It happened at the Columbia Senior Center on Business Loop 70 and Rangeline. Police said more than 25 shots were reported. 2 men were injured with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds and were both taken to the hospital. There was a party of about 300 people going on at the center prior to the incident. The president of the board of directors at the facility said the party had wrapped up at about 1 a.m. This incident, though, was her thinking about halting big parties there altogether.
I'm having an emergency board meeting on Monday, and we're going to discuss the rentals. Most of them do not want to rent to large parties like this anymore.
Investigators are still trying to determine what caused a medical helicopter to crash late last night in St. Louis. The helicopter's pilot was killed when the chopper went down not long after takeoff in this parking lot. Despite the fatality, the crash could have been a lot worse. Officials say the pilot was the only person inside the helicopter. He was on his way to pick up a full crew. If you've seen a few extra people around Columbia this weekend, it's because the city is hosting a few major events. The True False Film Festival is taking place at numerous destinations downtown, but the city is also hosting the MAC Conference Wrestling Championship at the Hearn Center, as well as the National Intercollegiate Wheelchair Basketball National Tournament at the Mizzou Rec Complex. Officials say while this weekend doesn't bring in as much money as a home football game weekend, it still has a large economic impact.
You know, Mizzou football game is 4 hours surrounded by tailgating, and depending on the time of the game, people may spend the night, people may go home. You know, things like True Falls and a basketball tournament, those things really expand the time that we can have people here in town spending and enjoying our destination.
The wheelchair basketball tournament ended today, but True False and the wrestling championships will continue through Sunday.
It was about 20 degrees last week, and here we are back in the 60s.
I know, it's nice, isn't it?
That is a nice looking 8 days.
Yeah, I think people are finally going to start to like all the weather people now.
I think so too. I think so. I turned off the heater at home yesterday. And
we always like you, Mallory.
Oh, thanks. That's sweet.
Thanks, Mallory. Top-ranked Missouri wrestling is in postseason form.
Coming up in sports, see how the Tigers are faring in the MAC Conference Tournament. Welcome back. In today's 8 Goes Green story, the city of Columbia is trying to bridge the gap between those who recycle and those who don't. The city held an event today to train people how to become recycling ambassadors. Recycling ambassadors are citizen volunteers who educate others about recycling and waste reduction. Columbia's recycling rate is 17%. That's well below the national average of 34%. Officials say convincing people to recycle can be difficult, so hearing advice from a fellow citizen can help.
It's very difficult to convert a non-recycler to a recycler, and so hearing this information from a city employee may be a little more difficult to digest than hearing it from another ordinary citizen who recycles.
Recycling ambassadors are expected to volunteer 12 hours of their time per year to recycling education. To learn how you can volunteer, visit our website at KOMU.com.
Buckle up for basketball, folks. Here it comes.
Coming up in sports, we have last-second thrillers from the state basketball tournament quarterfinals.
They say that you can find anything at a thrift shop, of course, and in their relentless pursuit to find things that'll get people talking, the Huffington Post went out to prove that theory, and what they found, well, it has us talking.
Here are just a few of the great finds. You might remember the SNL skit Laser Cats, but how about a shirt with the legendary kitties? Sticking with the cat theme is this gem, a yearbook dedicated to the feline creatures.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and finally, we have this, a shirt with the founder of modern psychology on it, Sigmund Freud. No further commentary needed.
What do you know? You can find everything at a thrift shop.
You can indeed. Have a good one, everybody.
Have a good night. Enjoy the weather.
Indeed.